What is perspective? Why does it matter? How can you use perspective to improve your drawings and paintings? We will cover that and more right here in a minute. Hi, I'm Tim Longwell of Longwell Art, where we help you regain your health and happiness through reigniting your creativity. So what is perspective? Well, perspective is the viewpoint of how in the distance colors get lighter, shapes get smaller, light post or tree close to you is larger than the one off in the distance. And there are three actual lines of perspective. There's the horizon line, is what your perspective is based on. And the one that most of us relate to is the one we have the most common reference is eye level horizon. It means it's right where our eye naturally rests. So when you're looking out your car windshield or walking down the street, that's the perspective horizon line. Then you have the perspective depending on whether you're climbing up from a lower area, so you're viewing something that's higher in the elevation than you are, or whether you're walking down a hill or stairs and seeing something lower. And then the horizon line changes. You have two. You have one at the top, and you'll have one below you, depending on that perspective. If you're coming down the stairs or down a hill or driving down a mountain, this will be your horizon line. If you're driving up or looking up or climbing up the stairs, this will be your horizon line. So how does it work? How do you use perspective to improve in your creativity? Well, there are multiple basic perspectives you can use, but we're going to cover the two most common in this video. The one is center points perspective. That's right in front of you with singular vision. You're not looking off to the side. You don't have an extra reference coming from one side or the other because you're at the center looking at the center of the horizon. Then you'll have a two-point perspective, which are out here. And those are going to change based on where you're standing on which side of the dot, which side of center horizon you're looking at. And we'll cover a little bit in each of those. The easiest way for you to picture in your mind center point horizon is picture you're on a flat surface looking out across the country or the road, across a flat straight bridge. The road would do this. Because this is the way we would see it. Would actually be tight like this and then get larger as it got closer to us. The bridge would actually be more like this. And any fixtures, say light poles on it, would proportionally get a little smaller. as it recedes off into the distance. If we were looking at this same bridge from down below, then we would see it more like this. And then the lights we'd see more of. They'd get a little smaller as they go into the distance. Eventually, we'd hardly see any at all. If we're looking at the bridge going down a hill, we'd see it more like this. And depending on where we were standing in the center of that bridge, we might see this initial one. We'd only see part of this one, and we'd see less of each one. So it would actually look like they get shorter faster than this perspective or that perspective, because we couldn't see it counting down because of what the wall would cut off. You got to remember, we would be standing on this line, looking down. We'd be standing here, looking up, and here, looking straight at it. Now, what if we were to see this wall in 2-point perspective? At that point, it doesn't change a whole lot here at our center point horizon from what we see from a dual point. Depending on where we are, it might change how we see this. So this side, if we were standing over here, this side might seem a little taller than this side, just like I drew this one shorter than this one. You'd actually see less of this one, so it would also be narrower. With this one, be the same principle. Only we might, depending on where we're standing, if we're standing looking at it from here, we might see just a little bit around the corner of the wall. And then this would taper down to fade away rather quickly. Same if you're looking down. If you're standing in the center point, you see it one way, you look at the other way. Easiest way to describe it is with a cube. You're looking straight on at a cube, you'd see a three-dimensional object, basically like that. You wouldn't really see any of the top, you wouldn't see any of the bottom. There'd be almost no discernible difference here. It'd be hard to tell it was a cube rather than just some black rectangle out there. Say this was black. Light might show us a difference because one side might have more light on it than the other. Whereas a cube, looking down on it here, we would see like that, because we'd see more of the top. From here, we'd see the cube. More of the bottom, because we're looking up to it. So it would give us, as you can see, it's a different perspective. It's a different way of seeing things. And how you apply them in your artwork, in your creativity, in your drawings, in your paintings, will determine what people see. And why is that important? Well, it's important because now you get to tell the viewer where he's standing in your creating. Is he standing in the center of the looking in? Is he standing off to one side looking in? Is he standing above it looking down and in? Is he standing below it and looking up and in? And you get to decide, all depending on how you present this perspective. And that applies whether it's a road, a wall, a tree. The tree on the horizon here is going to be smaller than the tree right in front of you. But from down here, you're going to see more of the under part of the tree and not so much of the trunk. From down here, you're going to see more of the top side of your tree instead of the trunk. That's perspective, just that simple. If you have any other questions about perspective, I'd like you to leave any questions you have in the comment section, and I'll get back to you and try to answer it. And if it's easier to answer it in a video, then I'll make a video and help you along. Because if you ask it, I'm sure someone else would be wondering too. Another way perspective will help you is in like this painting right here. This painting right here lets you look into the distance. Remember we talked over here about how things faded away in size? You'll notice this is obviously further away than these two right here by you. This one's closer because you can see more of it. This saguaro is larger not because of size, because they're all relatively the same age, but because of distance. So this one farther away, you're not going to see as much detail and size on this one as you are when you're standing up closer to. That's just another way that perspective helps you present your subject matter. And we'll cover other ways as we go on and continue to show you about your creativity. If you like what you saw today, be sure and click the subscribe button. Ring the little bell notification so you know when we upload another video to help you out, or when we go live so you can watch or even follow along and work with us on a project. Check out the videos over here for more tips and tricks and suggestions of how to apply different things in your creativity. If you like Longwell Art gear, be sure and check out the website. So in the meantime, practice what you've learned up till now, continue to create, but most of all, be sure you have fun.